Welcome back on the channel. In this video, we talk again about the law of assumption. And we're gonna look at the law of assumption and the power of words. How do you actually put the law of assumption into practice? How do you take an assumption, a thought that you have, something that you wanna create, and impress it on the subconscious mind? How do you get to believe in the assumption that you created? This is what we're gonna look at, and we're back on the board for this. So I hope you're ready. Let's go. And before we go into this, guys, I want to invite you to like, share, and subscribe on the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So let's get started. We all know that assumptions are nothing more than beliefs, okay? And a belief is nothing more than a thought you have that you have repeated over and over and over again with enough certainty that it became a belief, it became a conviction, it became something that your subconscious mind is acted on. And we all have assumptions and beliefs about literally everything. And those come from all the way from your childhood and all the way until where you are today, where you pick up beliefs, you pick up assumptions, you make up your mind about something, and you start to live by that assumption. And that's why assumptions become hardened into fact. Now, here's the thing. If this is a simplified drawing of your mind, okay? We could say that your mind is broken into two parts. We have the conscious mind on top and we have the subconscious mind at the bottom. Your beliefs, your self-image, your self-concept, all those information, memories, all that data that you have that create the filters that we talked about in the previous video about the law of assumption. If you haven't seen it, I strongly encourage you to go see why the law of assumption work and the science of the mind combined, okay? Because it will explain a lot of the things that I don't want to go into again. So we all know that all your beliefs, all your assumptions are stored at the subconscious level in the gigantic database of the subconscious mind, okay? And we live what we believe. That is the foundation of all of it. So now we know that if I want to use the law of assumption to transform my life, that means that I need to influence my mind, my subconscious mind, with new information, with new belief, with new way of thinking about what I want, okay? Because if you keep on thinking the same way, keep on doing the same things, keep on having the same attitude and energy, well, good luck. So we all know, right? You need to create a new assumption at the subconscious level. This is where usually the struggle starts to go. How do I go about it? What do I do? How do I use my imagination? How do I use affirmation? How do I do it? This is where we got all the tools, all the techniques, all the strategies that come into play. Because of course there is not just one strategy, right? But it's all the tools and techniques are all about creating an assumptions, transmitting it in your subconscious mind, and then letting the subconscious mind bring that into your reality, okay? So let's take an example of how this might be working in your life right now. I had a client recently, and she wanted to increase health, vitality, lose weight, and just feel better in her body and in her health. And at some point in the conversation, she told me that older women in my family are overweight. It's just the way it is, it's genetic. And I was like, okay, is it really true? Is that like really the case? How do you know, right? Do you have a genetic report, a DNA report? How do you actually know that this is true? Can you show me like that fact, that DNA report that telling that you have that genetic predisposition, so to speak? And she was like, no, it's just something I know, right? It's just something my mom talks, it's just the way it is in my family. And I told her, good luck. And she was like, what do you mean? Well, with this assumption here, at the subconscious level, with that form of assumption, with that form of belief about your weight, that older women in your family are overweight, how do you think this is affecting your result and your manifestation? How do you think it's affecting all the diet that you've been going on? How do you think it's affecting your self-image, your confidence, and the way you look right now? How do you think it's affecting your subconscious self-concept about yourself? That on top of all the other assumptions that you made about your health, your body, and who you are, and your self-worth. And in that moment, she started to consciously think differently about that assumption. right? It's almost like you have that aha moment. I never thought about this, right? What if it's not true? What if that belief that she was told, maybe ever since she was young, was not true? So she was starting to break that assumption. And this is where the magic starts. When you start to realize that the old beliefs you've been living by, that have been creating your result, your body, your situation, the things you're attracting, your manifestation, your relationship, what if those subconscious beliefs are bullshit? Have never been true, but you just convinced yourself that it's the way it is. That's when it gets so dangerous, when you have a negative belief that is just the way it is, it's just who I am, it's just like that. But the moment you have that moment of self-awareness and you realize this is not true, you can now empower yourself to start thinking differently. This is where the power of words start to come into play. So this is where we come now. How do we reverse this? How do we reverse all the assumptions that we have and all the results that we are already creating unconsciously on autopilot? How do we consciously choose to plant a new seed at the subconscious level so we can start to alter the result and manifestations that we get in our life? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. You see, your current subconscious conditioning, all those programs that you have, your current self-concept that is subconscious, is at the moment conditioning the way you are thinking, right? It's conditioning the way you're seeing the world, it's conditioning the way you are feeling here, and the way you are behaving, making decisions, and the result you're doing. In one way, we could take it further and say that it's even creating that, electromagnetic field that is known as you, your vibrational identity, okay? So how do we reverse this? This is where we have to take conscious control. And now, instead of letting your subconscious mind create those automatic thoughts, automatic imaginal act, automatic thinking, we have to start thinking differently. And thank God we have this ability to consciously pause and be like, hey, I can have a new thought. Hey, I can imagine something completely new right now. Hey, I can think the opposite way, right? We have this conscious ability, but most of us are not consciously thinking, we're subconsciously thinking based on all the programs and assumptions and habits and automatism that we've done and rehearsed for years and years and years. So you gotta have self-awareness of what's happening in your thoughts here. What kind of crap are you imagining? And take control here. If you cannot control your thoughts, you will be used by the mind, and instead of using your mind to create what you want. So we have the ability to create a new thoughts, and this is where it becomes so interesting, because here is the power. Here is, in the beginning was the word, and the word had power, kind of thing. So you can use the power of word, the power of thoughts here, to design a brand new image of your reality, a brand new image of your life, something of your choosing, of your liking, based on your desires and goals. So you can choose to create a new self-concept and everything that it means and all the things that you want to create in your life. How do you do that? You need to impress your subconscious mind with that idea. And this is why the power of words here comes into play. Because as you use words to think about what you want, the life that you want, right? You're starting to generate that new mental picture. You're starting to generate a new feeling in your body. You're starting to become a match to that reality. And if you keep on thinking that new thought about that new life and that new body in present tense, always in present tense. Yeah, underline this, write it down somewhere, always in present tense. What you're gonna be doing at some point is that you will be impressing your subconscious mind with that new thoughts. That's the basic of it, okay? And here, you must have repetition. Why is that? Because we learn the best through repetition. Everything you've learned, that you have acquired, that you've mastered over in your life, you've done it through repetition. All the assumptions you've done and assumed that you have in your life right now, all those beliefs and habits you have, think about how many times you have repeated them in your mind, how much repetition you've put behind your present self-concept, self-image, and life result. It's a gigantic amount of number. So just one thought once a day or whatever is not gonna cut it. Because what are you doing the rest of the time? You're letting the subconscious mind think again in the old way. And so you're keeping that old momentum overwhelming the new momentum that you're trying to create. So repetition is the key. But that alone is not enough. I want to break down a little bit, go into deeper understanding of what are the most powerful words you can use. Because not all words are equal. When you're trying to create that new life, when you're trying to manifest that new thing, when you're trying to attract certain things in your life, it starts in your mind with your thoughts and your imaginal act. Because you probably notice that as you think, your mind is already creating pictures, right? It's already focusing and creating the next thing, the next thought, the next picture, the mental movie. Whether you're conscious or not of it, your mind automatically makes creative pictures about the thoughts that you have. So the power of words can be used with dynamic, descriptive, powerful words that induce emotions in your body, because emotions equals energy. As you use descriptive words, dynamic words that makes you feel good about that life that you're thinking in present tense, always, you are starting to feel it in your body. And when you start to feel it in your body, emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. So you know that your subconscious mind is acting on it, because your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So whatever you hold dear and you start to feel with it, you start to become in alignment with it. So what that means basically is that we could say you start to vibrate at that level. And that's when you know that you are matched to that new reality that you're trying to create. Then the key is, how do I maintain it? Repetition. Because as soon as the subconscious mind takes it on board, you know it's just a matter of time for this to come into play into your life. And it's going to come in its own way, in its own form, and it's going to be perfect for you. That's, in my experience, the way it works, okay? So let's give an example, right? If we go back to that client who wants to have more health, more vitality, look sexier, and all of this kind of stuff, she must definitely break that all assumptions about being overweight in the family and la la la. And it's hard to lose weight, and I've tried everything. All that victim bullshit gotta go. You cannot keep that crap in your mind. If you truly are committed, if you truly love yourself enough to change, all that victim crap gotta go. So now you gotta start thinking about, how do I wanna look? How do I wanna feel? Who do I wanna be? What kind of life do I wanna have? And she started to talk to herself differently. That's what I gave her on a coaching call, right? We started to manufacture new thoughts, new descriptive language, new powerful, dynamic, emotional language that she could talk about herself, how sexy she was, how fit she was, good looking, confident, attractive, and all those things she was, being and having and doing in her life. But it wasn't my words, because this is where it becomes very interesting. We all have a certain way of resonating with words, with a certain way of expressing ourselves, a certain way to think, right? Especially maybe if you're not a native English speaker and you think and speak in your own language. Words mean different things to different people. Certain words are emotionally charged for a person, but it's not for the other. So this is where you gotta find your own words, your own, what makes you, what fires that fire in you when you think about that life in present tense. And once you start doing this, the more you do it with repetition, the more you absorb and focus on this, what you focus on expand, and sooner or later your subconscious mind will do it. So that woman is now breaking the bonds of her whole self, all that bullshit beliefs she was being giving on, all those false thoughts and beliefs and assumptions she was thinking in the past. She is no longer describing her life, thinking about her life based on how it is right now, but she's thinking about her life based on what she wanted to be. So if you have a business right now and you're thinking about, it's going well, but it's not easy, and finding customers is not hard, and marketing and doing reels and all of those things is taking a lot of time, and you're describing your current situation, which maybe is not that bad, maybe it's not that good, but notice that the thoughts you have will perpetuate or change your situation. So if you start to think negatively about yourself, the economy, the opportunity, the clients and everything, you will sooner or later experience that. So you cannot think from what is happening right now. Because if you let what is happening right now control the way you think, that's what the subconscious mind has created so far. So you're back being unconscious, you're back in your old self. So you must close your eyes to what is happening right now and elevate yourself, being like, what is it that I really want? And start describing your business as being successful. I am a successful person. I sell easily, I market myself, I absolutely love what I do. People are drawn to my business, whatever business you may be doing, right? You're describing that picture, and how much money you're making, how you're helping, and the impact you're having, and maybe the relationship you're creating at your shop or your coffee house or whatever. Because you want to tell your subconscious mind exactly what you want. And that repetition, you will start to see movement and manifestation and synchronicity in your life. Because as you start to radiate that energy, you also start to attract certain things into your life. Because you're no longer the same person, your energy has changed, your beliefs have changed. And now you're starting to get different results. This is how powerful the words are. So the takeaway I really want to give you is number one, repetition. Number two, you must think in present tense about what you want. And number three, you really must use words that are descriptive, that are powerful, that are emotionally charged, that works for you. You know when it works when you feel it. Right? You feel it in your body, wherever you feel it. You feel those affirmations. You feel that. And if you keep with it, it will become a reality, because that's the way the law of assumption works. So let me know what you think down in the comment, guys. If you have any form of questions, if you want to share anything, comment down below. I'm looking forward to hear from you. As always, take a moment to subscribe on this channel if you want to see more videos like this, guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Be well.